Winter is one of the hardest seasons on cars, and whether you've got a classic, sport, performance or supercar, you're probably not going to use it much over the winter months. So here's my guide on how I prep my Ferrari F430 for its winter layup. No matter what your car is, or how complex or simple it is, you still need to follow basic principles to ensure that when the better weather appears, your car is ready to go and won't let you down. Starting with the coolant. First of all, you need to check that there is an adequate level of coolant in the reservoir. Only do this when the engine is cold. Slowly undo the reservoir cap or radiator cap. If the level is slightly low, then you may need to top up with either some premixed coolant or water or coolant. I advise that you buy a coolant tester. You can get them cheaply from most auto parts shops. They look like a small pipette with plastic discs inside. You don't need anything complicated. This will tell you the temperature that your car's coolant system can withstand and whether or not you need to add more coolant or more water. If there's no coolant in the system, then you need to make sure that there are no leaks in the system. Once this has been checked and any remedial action has been taken, replace the cap. Next up, check the oil and the oil condition. You'll notice that on this dipstick there is no oil. This is perfectly normal and highlights an important point. You see, many new Ferrari owners check their dipstick, see no oil, top up the system and then get plumes of smoke. This is because the Ferrari uses a dry sump lubrication system, which can only be checked with the engine warm. It's worth checking your owner's manual to ensure that there are no strange ways that you need to check your oil level. Some are checked warm, some are checked cold, and some will tell you on the onboard computer. As a rule, the oil level should be above halfway. The oil should also be a nice golden colour. If it's dark black, then it needs changing. If it has what looks like cream or mayonnaise on the dipstick, then you need to check your engine. Finally, give the engine a look over and see if there are any leaks or broken pipes. It's always worth checking these accordion type hoses on the intake, as they tend to become brittle and perish, which can cause running problems. It's a good idea to use a rubber dressing on these hoses to ensure that they are soft and supple. When you're done, you can close the engine cover. Next, we're going to take a look at how we can protect the interior from the elements. Door seals should be clean, soft and supple. If you've followed my channel before, you've probably seen the video on cleaning and protecting door seals. If you've done this step, then the seals should be clean. If not, I've added a link in the description below. I'm wiping over the seals with a light amount of chemical Guys VRP dressing, which will ensure that when I shut the door, no moisture gets in and won't cause any damp or mould problems. You should do this on all rubber seals, including doors, roofs, sunroof, boots, trunks, or in the case of the Ferrari, the frunk. Next for the interior, I'm going to use these Silica gel damp catchers. You can get these from most DIY stores or supermarkets, but a great place to buy them from is the sort of cheap shops that sell all sorts of knickknacks, as they tend to be a lot less. They're great to use inside the car over winter, as any moisture is absorbed by them. They're cheap, and once they've absorbed too much moisture, you simply replace them. Take the bag of silica gel, cut it open and evenly distribute it around the lower half of the container, and then put the top back on. You can use a few of these on the main interior, behind the seat, in the trunk, the boot or the frunk. They're great, cheap and easy to use. To ensure that the battery stays in a good condition, you need to ensure it stays topped up. At worst, you could use a trickle charger like this standard Ferrari charger, or just a normal 12-volt trickle charger. Although this does work, battery technology has come on a long way. I recommend something like this, the Ctek battery conditioner. This device will ensure that your battery stays charged, but unlike a standard battery charger, this doesn't just output a fixed current, it regulates and conditions the battery. This makes the car's battery last for a lot longer and is a great investment. There's nothing worse than coming to your car the next season only to find that the battery's no good and the car won't start. Make sure that your tyres are at least to the manufacturer's specified pressures. This can be found either in the door, the fuel flap or the owner's manual. Some people may wish to overinflate their tyres to reduce flat spotting. This method is subjective, as is the amount to overinflate. I would say if you're going to do this, do 10% of the original pressure. Some people say 5 to 7 psi and some say the maximum pressure on the sidewall of the tyre, but this is not one that I would recommend. We need to check the water drain holes if fitted, as this can be an area that can give lots of trouble if not paid attention to. Check there are no obstructions to the drain holes and drain channels, for example leaves and moss. Next, we need to test the drains are working properly. Simply using a funnel and a kettle, I've poured some water down the hole, and you can see it draining out from under the car. This means that the drains are working. On vehicles with a sunroof, this can be one of the main causes of leaks. Give your wiper blades a clean. Simply spray a microfiber cloth with an all-purpose cleaner or a glass cleaner. This will stop them freezing, it will stop them drying out and deteriorating, and it will keep them in a great condition for the next season. Now I recommend driving the car every couple of weeks, or at least starting the engine and getting it up to operating temperature. If you do this on a cold day outside, you may notice that the windows steam up. Do not leave the car like this. There is trapped moisture inside the car. Roll the windows down a little bit, let the inside of the car reach the same temperature as the outside, and this will prevent mould build-up. So if you're leaving your car outside, it's wise to use a cover. Now I know there's a lot of debate over covers doing harm to paint, but if you're careful then this can be reduced. I first put on my standard Ferrari peach skin cover. This cover acts as a barrier between the paintwork and the next layer. Now, if you folded your cover properly when you removed it, you should have no problem putting it on. It took me a while to get this right. So, unfold the cover over the car, and if you have mirror pockets, put those on first, as this will stop the cover from moving or blowing off. I cover the car completely, leaving a gap at the bottom as my next cover goes over this, that way this underlying cover doesn't get wet. So after I've put that cover on, I put the next cover on. This is a breathable, waterproof cover that will stop any water getting onto the car. It's quite effective, but some water and moisture does still get through, and I think it needs re-waterproofing. However, because it's breathable, any water or moisture that does get through is then wicked to the surface and evaporates. Importantly, this cover needs to have underbody straps to stop it moving in the wind. This cover has been on for a few gales and it doesn't budge. A quick tip to put the underbody straps under the car, I use an extendable line prop. I put the straps on the end and then feed it under the car. This makes it so much easier than trying to throw them under. The cover I'm using is a £50 cover from a car accessory store in the UK. It's not custom made, it just fits the car really well. So that's how I've prepared my car for its winter storage. If you've got any tips for leaving your car over winter, please leave them in the comments below. If you found this video useful, please give it a thumbs up, share and subscribe to be notified when I upload new videos. I'll see you next time.